I just thought I'd show. This is sort of the mainframe rebuild and customization, I guess, on the 1986 International s1900. So originally the frame wasn't nearly as strong as what I'm making it. So as you can see, I have this big piece of 3x2 pipe, courtesy of a very good contact and what's becoming to be a friend in a steel company. So I'd like to thank him for that. And so first thing, I squared one side. I just used a square, that tri-square, and then I welded that reinforcement. So I started on that side. It doesn't really matter too much. And then the problem was on this side I got a huge gap, so it was hard. My helper was kind of lost. He wasn't understanding what was going on because this side there was a big gap between this pipe and the original part of the frame. And that's why, so what I did now is I'm squaring the whole cab. And there's a lot of variables. First of all, the structure on it was pretty much gone, and then there was attempted repairs on it. And then over here I've got the cab resting on these jacks and another jack on that side. So there's a lot of things here that a lot of variables, a lot of things that are affecting the ability of this cab to be square. But it doesn't really matter that much, guys. It's not a like a 1925 V12 Cadillac, the only one in the world. It's not a big deal, but I am trying my best here, and I'd like to make things, square and nice looking as possible. But it's not a huge concern. This is a work truck. My main concern is this here. I want it to be solid. I know some people had concerns about, well, it's going to be a bit too heavy. Well, half a ton or even 1 ton on this truck here, it doesn't really make a difference. It's a very big, powerful engine. It doesn't matter too much. So, in any case, my main concern is reliability, and I don't want to have to do the same job twice. I hate doing that. I'm the good doctor, as I usually say. I'm the good car doctor. When people come here to Old Crow's Classic Cars, I don't want them coming back again for repair. Come back for a chat, for a coffee, for a drink, but I don't want to see you again for a repair. I don't want to have to work on your car again. I'd like to. It's kind of my legacy, right? So, yeah, anyways, again, we're just using big C-clamps here to clamp the frame down, and so now I got rid of the gap, and then I'm going to weld here along the seam here. There used to be a bit of a ridge, and this, again, is a weakness. So, as you can see here, and all along here, it's just this ridge here, it's just two pieces of sheet steel clamped together and then spot welded. So if I clean this up here a bit, you can see that's the spot weld there. As we move up here, that's another spot weld there. But everything along here, it's not welded, it's just completely empty. And as you can see, there is a space between them. And then over time, well, here not so much, here doesn't matter so much because it's on the side. Water, again, because of gravity, it just tends to go downwards. But at the bottom here, this whole thing was... on this side, it wasn't too bad. On the other side, it was just rotted out. And so I'm going to cut it. I just decided to cut it before anything worse happens. So either I might put a small angle here. That way it's solid. It's just one piece. or I might just leave it flat and then just have like a stainless like a running board. I think that's what it's called. I'm not too sure. Just something to cover this gap and hold the carpet down. Again, I always try to eliminate corners and ridges because that's the weakness. Paint chips off of those parts, and especially here where people are constantly stepping to get on the truck. So the flatter the better. Just always keep that in mind. So we're about halfway, maybe a third through the day today. I'm by myself here. So yeah, and a good piece of advice is to just if you're unsure of how the frame is going, just do some tack welds. They're pretty strong. So just don't weld the whole thing and then maybe something happens and you have to redo it. Yeah, so the next part, once I weld this, we'll have a bit more of there will be a lot more structural integrity in this cab. And then I'm going to work on that side. And once I get that side connected, then the whole thing will be pretty solid already. And then I'll start to work on this back part here. That way, you know, I don't have 4 jacks, and so, and anyways, it would be too much, like I said in the beginning, too much to do at once. You don't want the whole cab or any framework, you don't want the whole thing sloppy. Even if it's rusted, even if it's sheet steel, it's still, like this here, it's still holding things together. So I do this part, and then I do that part. If I were to just cut the whole thing up at once, it's still possible. Some people like doing that way, but I prefer to do it this way. And once we weld this to this here as well and gain some structural integrity, then this whole front will be solid and we can move to the back. Another improvement that I'm going to be making is I'm probably going to be adding channel from here to there, because there's not much structural. See, this here is structural. These channels, they're structural. Channels or pipes are structural. So there's nothing going from here to there. There's nothing going across that way. So I will be adding that. And I'll also be doing away with this thing here. So as you can see, that's where the rust started. So that big hole there, I don't know why they have that stupid grill. Apparently it's for a cab vent, for venting fresh air. Well, you can always just roll down a window. That's much easier and much cleaner. So you never know, you have a bunch of fumes coming out of the engine here. You don't want engine air. You want window air. So I'm just going to be welding that shut. So on the top there you can see the hole. And I honestly don't understand why they make that. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then it goes, the water starts to leak inside through those vents there, those holes. And then since it's not stainless here, and it's just spot welded again, it just starts to drip down and rust at the bottom. So even more pathetic on this truck is that they actually don't have a pipe for the water to get out of. So the water literally just stays there. It's unbelievable. So if you watch that Rambler repair where I did the same thing, but what I did is I just put a piece of stainless underneath, 20 gauge stainless, welded that up. But it originally had a water spout, 2 hoses on each side, so that the water that came in through the middle, it exited through the sides. This here, there's no water exit, so it's just unbelievable what these people come up with. So I'll be getting rid of that. And yes, I'll see you. That'll be the next video.